Hello and welcome to the Property Pilot. So as you can probably tell, it's raining really badly here. Let me turn around the camera. I'm not actually getting out the plane because I'll be absolutely soaked. So now's a great time to do a video on what I'd do if I had £100,000 to invest in property. So without further ado, this is what I'd do. So a lot of people would think, well, instantly if they came into, that kind of money, well, I'd buy one property and I'd rent it out and, I'd profit the difference between the rent and the maintenance. However, you actually can buy more than one property with £100,000, which I'll come on to very shortly. Some of you may be thinking, well, I don't have £100,000 in the bank. This isn't applicable or relevant to me. I don't have anything in the bank. What I would say to that is, it doesn't have to be your £100,000. It could be £100,000 that you maybe borrowed from a friend or a family member or someone within your network. And I can guarantee you that there was someone within your network that has funds, and your job is to persuade them to lend you the funds and for you to have the confidence to carry out that investment. Now, this can be a big win-win because obviously you can make money and so can they. So for those that say, oh, well, I don't have £100,000, find it. I know you can. So let me come on to this strategy and this concept, which at first is quite hard to understand, but it's actually very easy once you do it. So if you've got £100,000, don't buy one property. Try and buy 3 properties, and I'll tell you how you can do this. So if you're using leverage or finance, or you're getting a mortgage on a property, you don't have to use the full purchase price. You can put in, say, a 25% deposit of the purchase price. So let's assume we're buying properties for £100,000, and we're putting a 25% deposit, which is £25,000. If we're getting 3 of those, the deposit will need £75,000. Now, there's other fees. We've got legal fees, we've got stamp duty, we've got maybe mortgage broker fees, other things we'll have to pay for. And this will probably amount to maybe £3,000, £4,000, maybe even £5,000 per property. So you can quite comfortably say you could buy 3 properties, all for £100,000 each, but only put down a 25% deposit. And this way, you're fast tracking your property portfolio growth rather than just buying one property with cash and no finance. And this video is going to talk to you a bit about why you need to do this and why I recommend that you do this. So first of all, the reason why we do this is capital appreciation. Would you rather have one property that's appreciating in its value not every single year, but over the long term, over the 5-10 years? Or would you rather have 3? Well, I'd tell you, I'd rather have 3 lots of properties appreciating in value than just one, because obviously you can capitalize from this in 2 formats. So firstly, you could refinance that property in 5 years' time at a higher value and take out that difference, or a portion of that difference. Or you could in fact choose to sell that property at some point in the future, in which case you've benefited from that capital appreciation. So this is how powerful it is, using leverage and using finance and getting mortgages on properties, because it fast tracks your wealth in terms of capital appreciation and what you can actually get back. You don't just want one property. Now, I'll tell you one reason why you don't just want property, because if you've only got one property and your tenant stopped paying rent, well, all of a sudden, you're in the red straight away. You're making losses every month. Whereas if you've got 3 properties and one tenant stops paying rent, well, in fact, you probably will still make money. Don't get me wrong, you won't make much. You'll still have a positive cash flow. You'll be in the black. So that's another reason why it's always worthwhile de-risking by actually buying more properties. The riskiest thing you can ever do is put all your eggs in one basket and put it all into one property, because if something goes wrong there, you will really feel it. Whereas if something goes wrong and you've got a portfolio of, say, 10 properties, you don't really notice it. So what I'm trying to say is definitely try and spread that £100,000 or whatever that sum is over as many properties as possible. Now, there's another reason why we actually want to do this as well, because when it comes to reinvesting in property, which is really important, we don't just want to, necessarily buy a fixed portfolio and sit on it. For me anyway, I'm always looking to reinvest my profits and to grow my portfolio year on year. And if we've got 3 properties, well, the cash flow we'll be generating from 3 properties will be larger than the cash flow from one, more often than not. So, we could hold back 50% of those profits every year for reinvestment. And, maybe after 3 or 4 years, or even slightly less if you're refinancing within 2 years, you'll have actually accumulated enough funds through rents and maybe through refinancing to actually purchase your 4th or 5th property. And that's how you can scale a property portfolio really quickly. So again, that's another reason why to buy several properties and not just one, because you can use those profits to further to further scale and increase your property portfolio journey. Now, this concept is quite difficult to understand, especially if you haven't done it before, and especially if you haven't refinanced property that you've purchased prior. And if any of you have any questions, I'm more than happy to help you out. So feel free to message me directly or put something in the comments. I'll get back to you and I'll show you how to actually embark on this strategy. It's a very simple strategy. It's one that people can get involved in fairly easily, and it's not like taking a personal mortgage out on your house. So if you live in your own property and you've got a mortgage or you want to get a mortgage on it, there are certain rules and criteria that you really need to hit in order to be able to take out that mortgage. Whereas when you come to the buy-to-let world, it completely changes. I'm not saying the rules relax, but there are different rules. So for example, if you're concerned that your income isn't sufficient, well, when you actually transition over to the buy-to-let market, there are some lenders that don't consider income. Income isn't that important to them. What's important to them is the rental return on that property. What's important to them is the loan to value that they're lending on and the value of that property, not so much what you make in your job or your business or whatever that may be. And again, if you want to speak to a broker, I'm more than happy to put you in touch with my mortgage brokers who will help you with this process. This channel is all about helping you get what you want from your property investing journey. So we bought 3 properties. A year down the line, if you can imagine that cash flow, it's far greater than 1. We're de-risking the strategy completely, and we're fast-tracking our journey to increase our portfolio. And this is why I recommend buying 3 properties. So the rain has finally stopped, which is great. So I'm going to make a run for it whilst it's still somewhat stable. So if you haven't already, I'd like you to consider subscribing to the channel if you're getting value from these videos. And if there's anything you want me to talk about in an upcoming video, again, message me, comment in the area below. And if enough people want that, I will create a video completely tailored to that subject. The kind of things you're going to see coming up in the channel is we're going to talk a bit about mortgages in the near future. The differences between interest only and capital repayments, and between fixed rates and track rates, all really topical and really important. And again, you need to know when to utilize these types of finance in your property portfolio journey. We'll also be speaking about other things regarding property investment. We'll be speaking about how to offer on properties, how to view properties, and overall how to improve your property portfolio journey. So thanks very much for listening. I hope you've got value from today, and I'll see you shortly.